growing up, I satire used to be like something that really grinded my gears. And I don't necessarily know why. I mean, I was a kid. I was like 4 or 6 or 7, and then I was listening to King of the Hill be stupid, and I'd just be like, "Who the fuck thinks like this?" And then I'd be like, I don't know, I'd be watching like Family Guy, and I would be hearing this and be like, "Why the fuck would you do that?" And then I'd see South Park, and they'd just be so over the top and stupid. And I'd be like, "Who the fuck watches this shit?" And it's interesting to see how things have either adapted or changed, right? Recently, we've had a big shakeup to what is satire, how can we approach it, and what is our responsibility with this. And while I won't get too into it right now, I feel like that deserves its own topic. But yes, with the release of South Park's latest episode and everything that came with that, I will just leave that here and say that satire is a fascinating beast. Just because it really is a single hair's thread away from either being the most fucked up thing that you could do, or being the single clarifying moment of waking someone the fuck up and being like, "Hey, look at this shit," and fucking reflect on what is happening. And to an interesting and very surprisingly, positively surprisingly, revelation today, Panty and Stocking has the stuff. Man, originally I wasn't really sure what we were gonna do with this IP, this creativity. Well, I was there when Stocking cut a Panty like 10 years ago, and we were waiting, just like, okay, so what now? While I did want a second season in that moment, flash forwarding like 10, 15 years to now, originally hearing that Panty and Stocking was gonna come back around, I didn't really see how it would fit in this landscape. And while I'm sure they could have figured it out in any shape or form, I think about something like Team Pop Epic and those very roundabout comedic slapstick comedy shows, and kind of what they do and how they present themselves in the past couple of years. We've gone through that, we've seen that, and while I feel like that is almost like a safer evolution of what Panty and Stocking used to be, it isn't until you're there staring at the TV screen and seeing just what the freak is made it onto the drawing boards that you're like, "Yo, what are we doing here?" And you know what? I'm excited. Because originally, yeah, it is the idea of Panty and Stocking going out there, running around, killing demons, getting the angel coins so they can go back to heaven, and blah, 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 blah. But as we've come to know, we don't really care about that. We just need the starting piece to figure out what we do and how do we keep these characters banded together in a believable universe, you know? You got angels and you got demons, and now they're helping each other out. Normally that doesn't make sense, but when you've waited 10, 15 years for this shit to come around, nothing needs to make sense anymore. And there is a beauty to that. There's an interesting moment. Just kind of seeing how they approach certain topics. And that is where we're at today. Because although this is still, even though this is still that raunchy ass comedy that I slightly remember from back in the day, I feel like this new episodes 2 and 3 specifically brought so much more to the table that I wasn't ready to expect. Coming from this satire, I did not think we are gonna go this hard, this smart, and this just ridiculous at certain points. Right off the bat, we talk about how because we're talking about how stock in Angel Coin is down, that now the girls need more coins to go up to heaven, and that just becomes a huge, hilarious like reference to how everybody's coming out with their bitcoins and shit. And it's like, oh my god, even there from that moment, it's like, oh wait a minute, let me turn my brain back on for a couple of seconds. This is not that stupid as slapstick comedy that I grew up, right? Or at least back then, my brain wasn't fully educated enough to take all that darkness in the universe and turn that into a joke, right? As a child, you see that and you're like, whoa, why would anyone do that or be like that? But you come to learn that life is full of many disappointments and difficult people, and that it almost becomes a norm to a certain point to certain people. And that is why this satire does wonders. It comes in, it lays out the most stupidest like reasonings, and then it layers it with realistic like ideals, and you go, oh fuck, we are stupid or we are potato, or we are just potato horn dogs trying to get validation from Instagram, or we as the royal we. I speak as a member of the Humane Society. But yeah, seeing how they just kind of come around. There was a scene in the second episode how basically they burned down a kitchen, which again, you know how I feel about kitchens. And because on the GPS to get there, they dropped 3 weed dispensaries. Oh, take a left around, take a take a turn around the weed dispensary, take another turn around the other dispensary, another turn around another dispensary, and you'll park in the restaurant right next to the weed dispensary. And I heard that, and I was just like, oh my god, it's perfect. And yeah, we just have this hilarious jokes that I don't think would have made sense back in the day. But right now, as we are, and even me as who I am and a person that I am, and the things that I've done, is able to see a fucking scene where the restaurant burns down and it basically cooks all the weed next door. And then instead of getting arrested, all the cops go like, whoa, I'm so high, you're good to go. It's like, okay, this is funny because it's not real, but it's fucking hilarious, man. And yeah, that's where we're at. I didn't think we were gonna get such a, like, almost like a Los Angeles inspired comedy from Trigger Animation, Trigger Studios, sorry. And maybe that's because they've associated so much in like California, LA. Maybe they've had a lot of conversations with Netflix at this point, and maybe they have those kind of like those reference points. But from what I remember, the original Panty and Stocking did not feel as centered and grounded as this felt. I can think of places where their universe could be in Los Angeles / Hollywood. I can imagine where in the universe that might be. And whereas before, I just completely thought it was this fantastical universe. But now with all the satire, all the jokes, and just how clever they have been in putting this down, I'm giving them the credit of being like, oh, you're talking about this corner. Okay. And we go, man. I did not think I was gonna like this as much as I liked it. I'm the type that really gets turned off by like when they push all this like grotesque or like this sexualized or this, if you go too hard on it, it feels like you're just trying to cater or pander to a certain audience, and that just it bores me. But there's something in this that's not just bothersome, but it has a hint of mischievous malice, and you go, all right, all right. So yes, it's great. I'm loving this show so much. I will throw out there, just again, there is a new random background character called, I think he called himself I am Guy Gaijin. I am Guy Gaijin. And just the shittiest whitewashed character, and it's just so funny because it's like, I guess I can laugh at it because, you know, that's first time or whatever. But it's just the idea of how much Japan has had to put up with this fucking American tourism and all that bullshit, and we get to a point to a point when they can just get it and put it in their anime and be like, you guys suck here. And that is where we stand. I think it's great. I think it's funny, and as long as there's kind of like a sense of like responsibility in terms of like presenting these things, being an asshole about it, but still giving you a reason to care in terms of like a, do you fucking get the point now, or do you see what we're trying to do here? It's funny, but it's also pretty serious. So looking at that, looking at the fun, looking at how social media has overtaken human interaction, and how at the end of that freaking that female competition at the end of the Instagram shit, how none of the characters look like they used to look before. You had a fucking buff ass stocking, even though she started off as a dessert eating fanatic. You had what is the other girl? I don't know. Oh, the other girl had facial surgery to like make her facial enhancements look different. Her sister was like fucking stick tall because I guess they stretched her out because she needed height or whatever. And yeah, stocking was just always just the person she is. So I guess some things don't change, but you know, presenting things like that is like, it's interesting. No one's telling them to go out there and make fun of Instagram and just how bullshit it and superficial just the whole craze of just posting half-naked photos will get you so far in this universe if you have tits to share. So it's just interesting how they're going at it, what they want to present, what they're saying, how funny it is, and like how crazy it can get. It almost, not that it scares me, but it's like, okay, what's on the chopping board? What's next? You tell me, dog. Like, I'm just here to watch, watch, learn, and report back to you. So if that's been fun, let me tell you one more. This is perfect because not only did they make a Magic the Gathering / Yu-Gi-Oh! / microeconomy joke about cards and their microeconomy, which was great, by the way. They also freaking made a strong, oh my god, just, it's called Fuck and the Furious. And it is exactly what you think it is. It is fuck the Fast and the Furious, from the opening scene to when he orders a tuna sandwich to the fucking to the final farewell scene when they split apart. It was perfect, man. I can't. It was so good. I fucking died laughing so hard, and I haven't laughed that hard at a piece of media in so long, just because it's so stupid. It's so stupid, and it's so perfectly well done to the characters, to like what they were supposed to represent, to how 1-to-1, to how Han is like half dead because he was dead before, and it's just everything that they did in that was perfect. I saw it twice in the English and Japanese dub just to see how far they took it, and dude, it's perfect on both sides. that alone was enough to convince me that I am looking forward to whatever the fuck they want to make. I want more movie references. I want more interesting social takes. I'd love to see more character interactions. We're starting to see how now that it's not just the two sisters, they have two other sisters with different personalities to kind of bounce off and try to like either grow or become new people. And with the inclusion of the newer characters, yes, the twink boys that are coming around, we will see what kind of interactions and what kind of excitement they bring to the table. So I'm excited. I don't think this is gonna be one of those weekly things because again, I didn't originally look like, I didn't think this was gonna be a thing because it just feels so contained and small and short and quick. But just 3 episodes put together does feel like we're getting something out of it while also just being completely surprised and impressed by what's going on. So with all that being said, it's been your boy, Kamisa, Assassin Alchemist, EXP, wishing you buenos dias, buenas noches, keep it chill. South Park, hold my beer. Chat. Matane.